Joined by head coach Kirby Dean of Eastern Mennonite University men's basketball. They were picking a tie for third in this year's ODAC men's basketball preseason poll. Coach, you made some noise last year with some star players coming out as you have the leading rebounder in the country back this season, not just the ODAC, and that's your big man David Falk, who is one of two first-teamers back this year. And you also have a good slashing guard, Marcel Crump. Talk about what you see out of those two players and also your other returners this season.
Well, those guys were guys that we were hoping if they developed as juniors that we could end up being a good team last year. And early on we struggled as they kind of waded their way through figuring all that out. And then by the time we got to late January, they had established themselves as some of the better players in the league, and suddenly we went from being an average team to a really good team. And then they've had really good summers, especially David. You know, David's one of those kids, he spends the whole summer on the farm, and this was the first year, after the success he had last year, this is the first off season that he actually got in the gym, worked on his back to the basket game, worked on his free throw shooting, did some things to really improve himself, and he's been unbelievable in the preseason. Now, he tore his hand up the other day on the rim, had to get 50 stitches, so he's out for about 2 weeks. But I think he's going to be ready to have a big year.
And when we take a look at some of the other players you've got this season, what do you see from them in early practice that's going to help you continue to do the running style you like to do in Harrisonburg?
Right. Well, Ryan Yates is our leader. I mean, he's our most vocal kid. I mean, he's the guy that puts people in their places. I don't even have to be negative a lot in practice because if something's going wrong, he's quick to point it out. Obviously, Marcel's back, with David, and Marcel is as good a slashing player as there is probably in our league. And we've moved Ryan Yates to the 4 because the style that we play and the way we press, we need an energy player on the front of our press, and he's very much an energy player. James Williams has always been kind of the unsung hero, the guy that doesn't get any credit, but he's a really, really solid point guard. He's not I joke with him all the time that I'm a better athlete than he is, but he's a much better player than I was. So we feel good about those guys, along with Quay and a couple of our other sophomores. We think we have a chance to obviously be pretty solid.
What's a new name we could hear come out of Royals basketball this season?
That's a tough question. We have 8 freshmen, and honest to goodness, and I've said this to people around Harrisonburg, and I think they're shocked when I say it, this is the best freshman class I've ever had, total package. Now, the group that ended up going to the Elite 8 in 2010, they were really, really talented, but there was only 4 of them. This is 8 kids, and I think the quality and the depth that comes with that group is unparalleled to any group that I've had. And it's really hard to pick one out. We have 2 twins from West Virginia who I think the minute they stepped on campus, they were the best shooters on our team. I think they're going to have a chance to contribute early. We have a post player, I think, who will spell David Falk, who's going to develop into a really nice player. But then there are 4 or 5 other kids that I think are going to be really good ODAC players.
You mentioned that trip you made to the quarterfinals. That's over the last 5 years, one of 14 teams to qualify for the NCAA tournament from the ODAC. What do you see from the conference this season? Well,
I mean, it's a similar landscape to almost what you see every year at the top. I mean, pretty much Wesleyan and Macon are almost 1-2 every year. That's a credit to what they've been able to accomplish. And then once you get below that, there's some drop-off, but it's not an enormous drop-off. I tell people all the time, I think the team that finishes dead last in the ODAC could always go out and be 500 in most other leagues. That's just how competitive our league is. So it'll be a dogfight just like always, and we're just hopeful that if we can gel like we did last year and find the chemistry that we had last year with the added depth that we have this year, that we'll have the potential to maybe cause some trouble for some of those folks.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining us today. Good luck this season.
Thank you.